Well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak.
It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Charles Osgood.
Nearly 28 years after his death, people the world over still know the singing of Elvis Presley. These days, they have new reason to know the singing of Lisa Marie Presley, who's carrying on the family tradition. Russ Mitchell has our Sunday profile.
For those of us who remember when Elvis was king, the name Lisa Marie is already familiar. And these days, the only daughter of Elvis and Priscilla Presley is moving beyond her celebrity pedigree to command a room of her own, playing her own music.
Professionally speaking now, is it tough being out there on stage, in a recording studio, out there in general, being the daughter of Elvis Presley?
I wouldn't say it's tough. It depends on what angle you're taking.
The expectations must be through the roof. Was that daunting at first?
I don't think I noticed what a mountain that was going to be to climb until I was climbing it. And I got, a quarter of the way up the hill and went, oh my God, I have to now answer to so many things. And that's the hard part.
Hard indeed, especially when comparisons to your famous father are never too far behind your every note, gesture, and lip curl. And add to that the public scrutiny of your personal life. But Presley says her music is getting through.
Your first concert as a headliner, scary?
Scary, but really surprisingly comforting on the same level, because that's where all just my fans were, which I hadn't experienced, Thank
you so much. Thank you.
And people that were really, that had obviously been affected by my music, which shocked me, actually. When that happened, I finally went, okay, this is why I'm doing this.
She says it was the opportunity to touch people with her music that motivated Presley, at age 35, to release her first solo album, 2003's To Whom It May Concern. And for an artist who fiercely guards what remains of her privacy, Presley is surprisingly candid in her music. A writing process she refers to as purging. Deeply personal songs that settle scores, examine past relationships, and reflect back on her children, family, and heritage.
Nobody noticed it. I heard broken footsteps. Was that you limping? Well, I wish that I had spent just a little bit more time with you.
Yeah.
When you sing that song, when you wrote that song, were you thinking of your dad?
Yeah.
How much does he come into play when you're writing a song, or is it kind of like this comes to you every now and then?
It came to me very, at that point, definitely. But no, not when I'm writing every time about somebody I hate or whatever I'm writing about on my record, or I'm trying to crucify in a song.
Today, 2 years later, she has released her second album, entitled Now What? The album's first single, a cover of Don Henley's broadside at media voyeurism and excess, Dirty Laundry.
Everybody has an idea of what you're like or what they think you're like. Yes. What's the biggest misconception about you out there?
I think anything aside from me when you see me in an interview or the music is a misconception.
What's the biggest one, you think? The one that really gets on your nerves?
God, there's so many of them, but I don't know. There's too many to even count. It's been happening since I was born, so it's kind of one of those things.
at the start.
Born into celebrity in 1968, Lisa Marie Presley has endured a lifetime of media attention.
As long as I have you.
Her parents separated when she was 4, and when Elvis died of a heart attack on August 16, 1977, 9-year-old Lisa Marie inherited a legacy of public curiosity.
What was he like as a guy? What do you remember about him?
Same person, you know, just, he was no different than, you know, on stage or off, and that was the beauty of him. There was no machine behind him, there was no publicity campaign, there was no image, you know, making of anybody. He was just who he was, which was why I think he was loved so much.
Yeah. Is there a memory, a single or memory of your dad that stands out?
Well, I always get asked that, and I usually don't get into it, because it's like they're mine, it's mine, and I just keep it that way.
I understand that, sure.
But just because it's like, there are things that should be mine, and I understand the curiosity, but I still just let that be.
Raised in Los Angeles in relative privacy by her mother, Priscilla, Lisa Marie's teen years were bumpy.
Good kid, bad kid, troubled kid, rebel? How would you describe yourself?
I think I started off all right, and then I don't know what happened. No, I'm just kidding.
At what age do you think you came out of your teenage rebellion?
19. Actually, let's say 18.
18. Something in particular happened? You just figured it out? What was it?
I just got tired of doing what I was doing. I wanted to know why I was here. What's the point? You know? I had some pretty deep questions I wanted answered, which is when I got very involved in Scientology.
It was as a member of the Church of Scientology that Lisa Marie met and married her first husband, musician Danny Kehoe, the father of her 2 children, Benjamin and Danielle Riley, now a successful fashion model.
What did Scientology do for you right off the bat?
Answered a lot of those questions. In a way, it was real to me. It wasn't explaining things in something that I had to believe in or forcing an idea on mere belief or, you know, worship of something that wasn't real and it didn't work. It worked and it made sense and it was, you know, factual, and that's why it worked. And that's what got me to calm down.
And it is through the church that she became an international spokeswoman for the Scientology-affiliated Citizens Commission on Human Rights, testifying before Congress in 2002 in favor of legislation controlling the use of behavioral drugs for children.
Parents need to be informed of drug-free alternatives to the problems of attention, behavior, and learning. A child could be fidgeting in class or simply bored with what they are learning and then diagnosed with a learning disorder.
It's an issue close to her heart, and her unusual high-profile role stands in sharp contrast to the retreat she's taken from public comment on subjects she is less than eager to discuss.
Got to ask you about Michael Jackson.
I'm not going to answer, though.
You're sick of being asked about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'll just ask you, though, I mean, asking you about what's going on now in particular, but do you feel sorry for him? Do you have any kind of feeling for him at all when you see he's on trial and what he's going through right now?
Again, any comment I make gets blown up too much out of proportion, so I can't comment. I won't comment more than that. I more than can't.
So that's it? No more discussion about Michael Jackson?
No more discussion about him.
Okay. Nicolas Cage.
Again, I just...
She wouldn't answer that question either. Still, she's not giving up on marriage.
You ever going to get married again?
I would love to get married again, but it'll be, like, you know, the timing of that is another thing, you know. I want to definitely do that, and I want more kids and stuff like that.
You do?
Yeah, definitely.
Like a glimpse of my reflection.
For Presley, it's a never-ending balancing act, deciding what to reveal and what to withhold, all the while trying to advance her music.
You strike me as a very private person. Am I right about that? And I have the feeling that if you had not come out as a recording artist, you probably wouldn't be out here doing all these interviews. Am I right about that?
You're very right about that.
Yeah. Is that the hard part of all this?
It is the hard part. Because the reason that that's hard is because I'm trying to promote a record, and it's like they can't help but want to focus in on anything but that. It's like, oh, we got a hold of her, let me ask her all these sensationalistic questions about whatever, which is the frustrating part. But luckily, I do what I do because of just I know that I'm reaching people with my music, and that is a fact. It is happening. But that kind of gets overridden, and that's the unfortunate part.
It's a price she says she's willing to pay in order to define herself on her own terms.
When people see your album out there and hear you, they say, I wonder if she wants to be as large as her dad.
The answer is no.
No.
No. I mean, I'm not, that was something that I never aspired. First of all, I couldn't do it, but I will say that in my own way, my own thumbprint is important to me.
And you're establishing that thumbprint.
I am establishing that thumbprint, yes, in spite of the thunder that's coming this way. You know what I mean?